1340 96.5 KVGC. On the phone with me is Douglas Viviani from Everything Old is New Again, the show that every week examines our pop culture, where it came from, why it's so popular, and definitely, for me at least, making radio fun again. And Douglas, good morning. Before we begin, I need to ask you a question.
Yes.
Every week we hear that famous, turbines to power, power to speed, that the little line from Batman.
Yes.
How did you come about using that?
Well, that was one of my favorite shows growing up as a kid, for sure. And I was trying to think of something, how are we going to get something retro that's going to charge us up here and get us rolling? And it just, it was like Kismet, it just came to mind. I went through a lot of, I went on kind of YouTube and some other locations and pulled up old TV show clips or lines, and that's all of a sudden that came up, and of course the other ones came up here and there. But that just, it seems perfect to me, to get rolling. Let's get going. Well, I'm trying to think what else I would use. It really was almost like no choice. There was nothing else I could think of that really got us rolling,
Anybody who's a fan or watched that show totally knows. And it's funny because every time I hear that, I can actually see them sitting in the Batmobile and Robin saying that and Batman and the whole flaming of
and you can see, remember Robin buckling his buckle.
Yeah.
His seatbelt, I should say, for the buckle. Yeah, I could see that too. It's amazing how these little things, when you're a kid, right? They just stick in your mind. You don't forget it all these years later.
So was the Batmobile jet powered back then?
Yes,
Think about it.
Yeah.
What?
It was jet powered. It was. If you ever watch when they're really using it in a chase, they do fast forward. What do you call it? They make it like a real fast setup there on the. They speed it up, like I should say, and how do you know how to phrase it? Whatever it might be, they speed up the how do you phrase that?
Speed up the camera. Yeah, the film. It's sped up, so it's
right.
Fast. So the term is, it's turbines to power, power to speed, right? Is that? I think that's what.
Yes, and he's clicking the buttons overhead.
Or it's atomic power. It's atomic power.
Yeah.
Atomic power yeah. That's because that's what I think's in the background. That's like an atomic reactor, in the background of the Batcave. That big piece of. I think that's
big huge thing, and the big huge computer. It's probably all. If you really think about it, would be on an iPad these days, right?
What the hell did we do with our childhood? I can't remember what I had for dinner yesterday, but I can remember,
We've got that long-term memory, boy. It's not going away. No matter what happens, we're remembering this stuff, that's for sure.
That's burned into my memory.
Exactly. Now, what's up with I just keep seeing all this stuff with power outages and all that. Are you guys okay over there, or what's happening?
Yeah.
Is it weather-related? Is it, I don't know, what's happening? What's the source?
Well, it all goes back to, a lot of folk think it is politically motivated, and I like to see the best in everybody, so I would rather have them turn power off than have my house burned down. Okay?
Right.
So here's what happened. So there's a new protocol put into effect by PG&E, and if you're really that interested in it, go look it up on the internet, okay? Because I don't want to waste time talking to you about it today, because it has to do with the wind, the weather, the humidity, and what they're worried of is like what happened in a few of these fires, like the Camp Fire that burned Paradise, even the Butte Fire, which was big here in Amador and Calaveras County. Power lines going down and starting, igniting a wildfire. So to prevent that, when there are certain criteria in line, PG&E has decided, Pacific Gas and Electric, they would de-energize all the lines. The problem with that is that the way the system is built, there are some areas, like downtown Jackson, a line could come down here and it's not going to start a wildfire in the city, but we're affected by it. Sutter Creek the same way, Plymouth the same way. We're not affected by a wildfire starting in the middle of our city,
right?
But the way that the grids and the power line, to simplify it, the way that the power grid is set up, power lines, transmission lines come through, so the power may start, somewhere 100 miles down the road and has to go through my area to get to your area, which is in a wooded area. So lines go through wooded areas. And even though we kept saying this throughout the I know I said I wasn't going to linger on this, and here I am giving the whole story. PG&E kept asking us to repeat to people, to remind them, even though it may not be windy in your area and you think you may not be affected with it, the way that the grid is set up, lines go through there. So
now, is there no way, I know this is a dollar and cents thing, but we have our power lines all over the place have been put underground now. I mean, is it in the threatened area? There's no way to do that?
They claim that it's just too cost prohibitive.
Yeah, I mean, it could be.
Douglas, I don't have the figure in front of me, but between transmission lines and distribution lines, okay, that they have to travel, the distance of the equator, the circumference of the Earth. That's how many miles of transmission and distribution lines there are. So they started on Thursday afternoon, early Thursday, and they continued through Thursday. Power slowly came on to a number of places. Friday morning, power was only on to about 36% of Amador County that was affected. And then throughout the day on Friday, they continued to do, checks. And hopefully everybody by this time now, this morning, is still on, is back with power. Chances are some may be in some remote areas, may still be without power.
Wow.
So
now, without power, of course, what's the key? Number one, charge your cell phone in the car, right? Besides, what's that?
Don't keep going to your refrigerator or freezer and opening it up to see if the light is working.
Right.
Keep everything, and unfortunately, you can only keep that for about 2 days, and then things begin to start going bad. And
you got to grab some generators. You can get a generator $300-400 at least.
There are no generators available in Amador or Calaveras County.
They've all been bought.
They've all been bought up. Luckily, we have both our AM, FM, and the studio here are backed up. We lost power at our AM site and our FM site. We did not lose power at the studio, but had we lost power at the studio, we'd be able to, work on the generator.
Wow.
So, I mean, we've
well, that's great.
done it before.
To hear you're still on the air for all that, because it's necessary for not only information, which you've got with the morning show, and I'm sure you're doing the news and everything else all throughout the day, entertainment. Like when this power goes out, I've got this radio. It's solar powered, and it's crank it up, right?
Yeah. I have one too. Yeah.
And you can even charge your phone through it. It's great. And so you get those, and you tune into, Coast to Coast and the morning show, and I don't know, maybe when radio was for a while there, and everything old is new again, and you don't miss a beat, right?
Yeah. Well, I don't know about everything old is new again. Maybe. We hope.
You may miss a beat, yeah.
Yeah. But, everybody's down on PG&E in it. So what do you want, folks? Do you want your...
Right.
I mean,
I guess they all want the perfect world where you're burying the lines, but I don't know how I guess that's a generational issue. Maybe you'd start doing it and just, do it over time. But, we're going to do a show on this guy, Tesla. You hear the Tesla car, right?
Yeah.
He had, out on Stony Brook, Long Island, he built a tower. His theory was, how you could charge your phone now without any wires? You put it on this hoo-ha and it charges it through the air.
Right.
He had electricity. His grid was his thought was, forget all these wires. Let's shoot electricity out through the air, so to speak, in the environment. Like they didn't have satellites back then, so he had these big towers. And he wanted to shoot electricity out, and it was for free for everybody. And you just get it like you get Wi-Fi these days. And it worked, but the public relations machine of Edison won out, and Edison's method of direct current, which wasn't correct either. Tesla did the alternating current, so without getting too complicated, it was much more efficient. That's what we use now. But I don't know, man. I wonder down the line if you bury these lines, or do you invest in trying to figure out how to send out electricity through the air? Is that insane to say?
No, a lot of people now, the Tesla Corporation, has made available batteries that will run your whole home.
Wow, really?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
How do you charge them up?
Solar.
Wow. How about that?
I mean, I don't know if solar's big in your, like we have solar on our house. What it does basically is it offsets our power bill. Our system's not set up for us to run the house. Our system is set up to augment what we use by PG&E. But we use our bills go from, $200-300 a month for electricity down to $11 a month because we're generating power and basically selling it back to the company is what you do.
Right. They are doing that around here now, yes.
Are they? Yeah. Teresa and I own our system outright, but you can lease them. What they do is they take a look at your bill and they say, your bill average is this, so we'll only charge you $150 a month for the next 20 years.
Right.
And so no matter what you do, your bill's $150 a month for the next.
Right.
So, but anyway, I don't know. It's just I feel sorry for the folks that were without power. Luckily, we weren't without power. So I mean, we had power, but
And this is going to end when the season, the fire season ends. Or
well,
what?
it can happen at any time. I mean, whenever the
the winds and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, there's some big fires burning right now in Southern California, even not started by the power, but by winds and so forth. We've got one that was a control burn that was up in the El Dorado National Forest that actually got away from them, escaped, and burned more than they thought. There's a fire burning down by Yosemite, which is causing a lot of smoke around here. And
well, maybe they got to expand these lines so they bypass, like you say, bypass Jackson or whatever, and the lines that go directly to these, we'll just say these threatened areas are direct, so that you're not, if you live in that threatened area, that's what you're buying. But goodness sakes, leave the unthreatened areas alone and give them power. That makes sense.
But they can't do that because, again, it goes back to what I started to tell you. The power starts in one area and ends in another area.
But split the lines.
So it has to go. Yeah, right. Redesign the grid.
This line's now got to go to Jackson exclusively. This line's going to the threatened area, let's call it whatever it is, Area X, and that's the one we turn off. But, of course, it's money, but you got to be able to do that.
Hey, buddy. This is this
Just
is
my 2 cents, because what a shame. I really feel it's horrible when you're without power. It really sets you back.
This is California. Everybody is equal here, so we don't want to discriminate against someone.
Well, so your property value is more when you have the guaranteed power, and your property value is less when you have subject to power outages.
Hey, you could just be, or you could just say, hey, you know what? If you don't like it, move to the city.
Exactly.
So
exactly. Anyway, well, okay.
Now that we've lost half our listeners.
Well, so what happens? No power. You got a barbecue, right? You got any good barbecue recipes?
Well, I was hoping maybe, if it ever got down to it, I could call you or text you, and you would give me, barbecue guys. I don't know. Does barbecue guy probably still uses a pager? Does he have a cell phone? Is it a flip phone, or do you think
he has the phone with the phone with the rotary dial on it. He has that old-fashioned, yeah. But he's always home, so you'll always get him.
Yeah, there you go.
And he's got some good recipe. Hey, listen, I found something the other day. Now, I hate to cheat with, pre-made sauces, if that makes sense,
sure,
or marinades. But I found one. If you wanted to do a little salmon and put it on the grill with McCormick's lemon butter dill, and with the salmon, you just cook it with the the skin side down, very low flame, maybe even on the top ring, because you don't want to, burn that salmon.
Right.
And you just, kind of with the marinade, you kind of brush the marinade on it every so often. This stuff is unbelievable. It goes terrific with salmon. McCormick's lemon butter dill. I'm going to contact them and see if I can get them to advertise with us. But I mean, it's really good. It's a great little thing, and it's quick. And when you got no power, you don't want to deal with all this nonsense with going in with in and out of the refrigerator and stuff. So you use this, and boy, you have a nice meal. Or you marinate some lamb chops with any kind of thing, barbecue or whatever. How about a lamb chop? When's the last time you had a lamb chop?
I like lamb chops.
I mean, I do too. You don't think about it too much, and it's a perfect grill food. Grills up nice. You do it on a real high flame, and just like, I don't know, you get the charcoal grill kind of stuff on the outside of it, and you cook it real fast because they're basically thin, and that's a nice one too. I don't know, just my 2 cents.
Yeah, I like lamb chops. I like pork chops. I like just about any type of meat.
Yeah, me too.
Do you?
The pork chop is tough though, because a pork chop, if you overcook it, and everyone always says you got to cook it till it's really well done. Well, then it's like a piece of eating like a piece of cardboard.
Right.
You got to be careful with that and cook it right, and it comes out beautiful. But I like the thick ones. If you get the thick pork chops, then you're guaranteed to have some juice in the inside. How about that?
Sounds good to me. Sounds good to me.
I don't know where a barbecue guy gets his ideas from, but I may have to throw a couple of these to him.
It'd be nice for him to do a cooking show, maybe.
Yeah, just a straight-out cooking show, right?
just him. I mean, do you think he could? Do you think he could do that? I mean, like a weekly cooking show.
I have a cousin who does. He's in Virginia. He does a service where he'll prepare meals, and you could do like a month or a week, whatever, and they package them up and send them to you, and they were freshly made meals and all this. So he's a chef, so to speak. So I might want to get him on the air to sort of counterbalance Barbecue Guy and see if Barbecue Guy actually knows what he's talking about or not. And do a straight straight cooking show with this guy.
Yeah, that would be good. That would
not
be
a bad idea, right? Not just barbecue, but regular stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had Nick Stellino on. He gave us a couple of hints here and there. Maybe I'll have him back. He's a celebrity chef. I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, those cooking shows are. I mean, you never get enough of them, do you?
How about the ones I like? I like the Robert Irvine show, and he doesn't do it much anymore. But Gordon Ramsay,
right? Restaurant one.
Yeah, where they go in and surprise the people, or the people call them in and they help them out and stuff.
Yeah, because he always I don't know if Gordon Ramsay has that softer side, or is it his producers? I don't know, but I think it's him. I think he puts on a facade for the other stuff, but. The other shows when he's screaming at everybody.
Yeah.
But those shows at the restaurants, he gets in, he finds out, what happened? You were a great chef and whatever, and what happened? Why did you give up? And there's always a family story or illness or, a death or whatever, and he's able to tap into that and reignite the fire with this entrepreneur. I think that's the coolest part of it. The other stuff, the nuts and bolts, is very interesting, too. I mean, they change it up in the look and whatever. But the motivation of the party that's having the problem, the driving force behind it, is really pretty cool. I know he dives into that. I don't know if Irvine dives into that too much. I haven't seen him.
Yeah, he does.
He does too. Yeah, so I think that's kind of cool.
Yeah. Hey, what's going on with the show tonight? What do we have?
Well, we have a guest back that maybe it's just me, but I can't. I love the guest, and I can't believe that he's so readily available. We have Nicholas Meyer, who was the guy that basically wrote and directed the movie that saved the franchise, the Star Trek franchise, The Wrath of Khan.
Yeah.
And then he did The Voyage Home with Leonard Nimoy, wrote and directed that. Then he directed Undiscovered Country, the sixth one. He was involved in the Houdini miniseries and The Day After. You remember that back in the 80s? He wrote that. He's unbelievable talent, I think. And he now has he did the 7% Solution. If you remember that from the 70s, the book, which was a phenomenon. They made it into a TV show, movie. And, he's got a new Sherlock Holmes book out called The Adventure of the Peculiar Protocols. We dive into basically, there's a little Star Trek talk, of course, but there's basically a big discussion about mysteries and Sherlock Holmes, and it's really interesting. I mean, it's really a good. I think we have a nice show talking about just Sherlock Holmes, just like that. Don't you have a place by you there that features Sherlock Holmes?
Yes, the Baker Street West.
Right. So anyone who's a fan of Baker Street West would really get a kick out of this show this weekend. I'm telling you.
All right. Was he approachable? Was he a nice guy?
Yeah, he's very. You know what the thing is? I had to tape it ahead of time because he's a Hollywood guy.
Oh, okay.
At the end of the show, he goes off the air. He says, "Listen, when you finish reading the book, because it's just coming out this week, when you finish the book, I really would like you to shoot me a note and let me know. You know, it doesn't have to be on the air or whatever. I'm just curious. What do you think? What you think of the book?" Now, here's the guy that wrote The Wrath and directed The Wrath of Khan, and he's asking me to give him a review on his book. Like, I don't know if it's just the ego of an artist that everyone wants to know, but or I really do think that we just hit it off like with on some level, you know, intellectually. What I'm going to say, we're with asking the right questions, and I'm challenging him with questions he hadn't had before.
So obviously, this guy did not meet David Cohen in person.
Correct.
Yeah,
correct.
it was
Actually,
all
Cohen
over.
stayed away from this interview. I kept him off the books.
Tonight, go ahead.
What I'm trying to do now is I just keep with these interviews with these celebrities. Sometimes David Cohen just sits there; he just doesn't get involved. So sometimes I just say, "I'll do the interview without you around, Dave," and just kind of.
There we go.
Do your thing by
Is
yourself.
that Leo or Angelica?
That's Leo.
Yeah.
Now, Leo, you want to say hello?
Hey, Leo.
Leo, say hello to California. Just say hello.
Hello.
Hello, Leo. How you doing today, buddy?
He's ready for school. Okay.
All right. Tonight and tomorrow night at 6 o'clock, Everything Old is New Again. Douglas Viviani and David Cohen. Have a great show tonight.
Thanks. Great to talk to you. Looking forward to next week.